Welcome back to Inside Politics. Our guest today is Nashville Mayor John Cooper. Mayor, just one more question in the area of state and metro relations. After what happened with the RNC 2024 convention, one of the more moderate voices among the Republicans up on the Hill, Lieutenant Governor Randy McNally, said that the council was being obstinate and you were being incompetent.
Well, I love our Lieutenant Governor, and people say things in the heat of the moment that I don't take personally, and I understand the frustration. There was a lot of partisan interest in having the RNC here. On our standpoint, we always had safety and security issues, and then I frankly had a hard time with just mandatory police overtime that would be required for something like that. We've been requiring mandatory overtime too much from our police officers. Now we're hiring a lot more police officers, but I swore in 61 last Friday. We have 8 recruiting classes in the next year, but we can't be a city that requires that much mandatory overtime.
Another issue that's been dormant for a while in Nashville in terms of waste disposal seems to be about to come back to life. A growing city like Nashville always has this kind of a problem. We currently, right now, the only construction landfill, now that's not solid waste, this is construction, that operates in Davidson County, has said by the end of this month, end of August, they're going to quit taking any more construction landfill materials from this county. Do you have a backup plan? It better be pretty quickly. We're talking only a couple of weeks.
Well, being mayor has lots of challenges, lots of different fronts all the time. That's one of them. I think there'll be an announcement hopefully pretty soon. You have to increase capacity, you have to have alternatives, and you have to get a lot better at recycling. And long term, I think there can be solutions for this, but it's also a function of our incredible growth that you do have this kind of additional landfill needs, and you've got a process that's not necessarily designed to solve this problem. So the mayor has to show up from time to time and encourage a good answer.
Now I understand the landfill, this is again construction landfills materials. I understand they're unhappy because they feel like the city's standing in the way of them being able to expand. They're going to have more materials come in, or they have to be expanded.
Well, you say the city, the process is a complicated one. There's a regional state board, there's the state, there's the city council. You have 4 or 5 separate actors. As I say, the process was not necessarily designed to solve this problem. Particularly, we need it solved, but the answer in time will be more capacity, better alternatives, and recycling.
And you think this will be taken care of in the short term between now, at least enough to shut things down?
I have a busy day job, and this is one of the problems. I didn't expect it to show up this month, but it is.
Also concerns about the solid waste, our household trash. It looks like the officials in Murfreesboro and the Middle Point landfill are in court. I think the ultimate goal may be the decision about whether they're going to expand that facility down there, or they're going to decide to let it expand, again, another expansion. Do you have a plan in place? Now, I don't think Metro does not send their materials down there directly. You send it through another
indirectly.
But are you working with those people to find another place to take it if for some reason Middle Point's closed?
It is a regional problem, and the Greater Nashville Regional Council needs to be used to address this too. It is all of our counties have, and almost everywhere in America, running into a problem on disposal of trash, and we're going to have to work together. Again, better recycling answers, more alternatives, more capacity is needed, and it's just going to take some time to build that capacity.
Mayor, there's been some problems with picking up trash in town. I think you've probably hired additional resources there. Is that problem behind us?
Well, I'm happy to say our complaints as measured by Hub Nashville is way down. It's really below pre-pandemic efforts. It has required extra investment by the city, and your viewers probably don't know this. We had one big contract with a vendor that went bankrupt. Now, we should never had such a big contract with one vendor who was particularly not a very strong vendor. And in replacing that, we're now relying on multiple vendors doing multiple routes, having backup. And if you have a problem with your trash collection, go on Hub Nashville and they will have it collected that day.
Another question about the East Bank. We hear so much about what's going on over there, not only what we talked about with the stadium, but the Oracle development, which is a huge one over there. If you look back in history, can you compare what's going to happen on the East Bank and through that part of East Nashville to what happened downtown with what happened in the urban renewal project that was done around the Capitol, and for that matter, what happened bringing the interstate through Nashville? These are going to be a huge development.
Well, it's a huge project, has the potential to be. Oracle is may not even be the largest, but the first of a series of reimagining the East Bank, of building a neighborhood. The opportunity of the East Bank is to have a much better city on the other end. Now, these other projects that you mentioned had displacement, had people living there, had kind of things that we would not find acceptable today, and also ended up resulting with our interstate system in being barriers to community, really an obstacle. The East Bank plan is actually going to serve neighborhoods with this thing that Nashville has always needed, a north-south connector. So it's actually going to make traffic better in about 20 neighborhoods.
And that road's already being designed.
It is being designed right now.
You've also talked about bringing the Tennessee Performing Arts Center across there. They need a place. The state is probably going to sell their building they've got or lease it out.
Well, the state...
Can you tell us about is TPAC moving over there?
Well, it's an exciting opportunity. If you're creating great real estate, you're going to create, again, with this new boulevard, the ability for it to be, hopefully, a choice for them in the relocation. I think the state is perhaps excited about them leaving. You know, the museum has left, the office building occupancy is way down. The TPAC facility is now 50 years old. Doesn't Nashville deserve a TPAC that really has got great visibility and identity? And the East Bank needs to have lots of cultural and educational institutions. I'm also excited about maybe our High School for the Arts locating there, because it's going to be very central to our city going forward.
In terms of TPAC what would be Metro's role? What would be the state's role? Would we be talking about finances here? Or are we talking about infrastructure?
Well, the state has been, bless them, a very big backer of TPAC historically, and I think fundamentally, financially, the state, I hope, will continue that role. It would be up to Metro to provide a site.
Is there a timetable for any of this?
Well, this is part of the complexity of this year, of working out the operations plan. Should the new dome be built, you know, you'd have that built, and then the old stadium would come down, then you're building this, and then a park. There's a big parks vision that goes with this. It's making Nashville the most exciting city in the country.
Mayor John Cooper is our guest. We're talking about all the things going on in Nashville. Back to continue our conversation after these messages.